Do you ever get those pesky news notifications during the middle of your day and you go to look at your alert and read the headlines? Early abortion bans, which states have passed them. This article perfectly represents how women have struggled and still are with rights and privileges. It all started back in 1913 when women practically had no rights. They couldn't vote, they couldn't earn their own living, and they couldn't even lift something over 35 pounds. Ridiculous, right? But what if I told you that some of these women were so mad they started a movement? That's right, the suffrage movement in 1913 took place for women to obtain the right to vote. Started by Alice Paul and Lucy Burns, who went through the proper channels to march, took 5,000 to 8,000 suffragists to march down Pennsylvania Avenue the day before Woodrow Wilson was inaugurated. Now, keep in mind, this was one of our first tries, so it didn't end up in complete success. The march turned physical due to opposing viewers in the crowd, but this later led to the bigger supporters of women's suffragists. In 1920, guess what? We finally got the right to vote. The 19th Amendment was added to the U.S. Constitution on August 26th. About a year later, in 1921, we held yet another protest. This was called the Bra-Burning Miss America protest. I'm sure by the title you can guess what this one was about. The Miss America pageant started when Atlantic businessmen wanted a new tourist attraction to keep them around after Labor Day. They held a beachfront beauty competition, and from then it became a recurring thing which turned into a huge American deal. This contest promoted one thing: materialistic beauty. The Miss America pageant took girls with self-esteem and basically steamrolled over it because they weren't quote-unquote pretty enough, which were demeaning and raised a win or I'm not good enough mindset, which is the worst thing to install in young girls' minds. In order to protest this misogynistic program, women would protest with posters, and then there was an instance where women would take their bras and other ladylike clothing and threw them in a burning trash can. Now sadly, we still have Miss America today, and even worse things such as the Victoria's Secret fashion show, which we still install unhealthy and unrealistic body image and beauty standards in women and men's minds. This movement raised a lot of awareness, and although it didn't make a huge change in the moment, it publicized how us women are treated. Now back to this news article. The whole abortion controversy is centered around an infamous case called Roe v. Wade. Roe v. Wade, in a nutshell, was when Norma McCorvey was a pregnant single woman living in Texas and brought a lawsuit against the Dallas County District Attorney Henry Wade. At this time, it was illegal to get an abortion in Texas specifically, but McCorvey didn't have the money to travel outside to get an abortion procedure. She sued Mr. Henry, and the case was brought all the way to the Supreme Court in December of 1971 and decided on January 22, 1973. The vote was 7-2, allowing women to get an abortion legally, and dismissed Griswold v. Connecticut. Now, sadly today, states like Alabama and Louisiana are banning abortions after 6 weeks, but statistics show that women don't even know they're pregnant until 5 to 7 weeks, which doesn't give women enough time to make this life-changing, difficult decision. Now, women's history is still changing drastically, as you can see from 1913 to now in 2019. Who knows what's going to happen next? Is abortion going to be completely banned? We'll see.